All right, everybody, welcome back to another segment of Drinking with Jake. Michael had to clear his throat because obviously this is his first day with a new throat. He doesn't know how to drink.
Right.
All right, so I'm glad. Are you feeling better, Michael?
I am well.
Okay, good.
It's not every day my best friend drinks straight from the bottle. I mean, and it just
It's every
tickled
other
me.
day.
Yeah, every other day.
It's
It
every
just
other day.
tickled me, and I just happened to take a sip right at the wrong time. And like I was saying off air, I did not enjoy with the splash of lime. And Jake says, "Well, you finished it though," and I said, "Well, I'm not a savage. I mean, there isn't to quote one of our favorite movies, there are rules. You must finish the drink. So
Big Lebowski. That's right. We try to incorporate some type of line in the Big Lebowski in our everyday lives.
yeah. So anyway, Jake, I need to know, what are you watching these days?
Great question. What I am watching right now is the second season of Afterlife on Netflix with Ricky Gervais. I'm sorry. It's
His
about a
friends call him
guy.
Richard.
What's that? I'm sorry.
His friends call him Richard.
Okay, friends call him Richard.
Or
So
Big Dick.
right.
Yeah, it's 96 proof. Give me a break.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. It's about the guy whose wife's passed on from cancer, and he's trying to learn to pick up the pieces after his wife passes on. And it's humorous, and he pokes fun of other people. And in typical, if you know Ricky Gervais and his comedy and his English, it's very cute. And I was watching this with somebody else in my family, and I said, with Ricky Gervais in this episode, Ricky Gervais is like he does different. He gets in different situations in everyday life. You meet the mailman, you're at a restaurant, you go to a meeting, whatever, and he just basically says what everybody thinks in different situations, and it's hilarious. So that's what I'm watching now. It's about a 30-minute per episode. Funny as all get out if you like English dry Ricky Gervais humor, which is sometimes a little crude, but nonetheless
Sure.
still pretty good. That's what I'm watching. Michael, what about you?
Well, I am also a child of Netflix. Child of Netflix. What a stupid thing to say.
Child of Netflix, the Con, CON,
Yeah.
Child of Netflix,
Come on.
Con.
No, I'm a subscriber of Netflix, so I'm a son. Trying to get the glare off.
Son.
Gosh.
Sorry.
So, I finished watching The Last Kingdom. The latest episode or season came out of The Last
Yes.
Kingdom. Oh
Yes.
my gosh, what a great show that is!
Yes.
Did you watch it?
That is in my quay. That is in
Okay.
my quay because I'm watching this one right now with a family member.
Okay.
And I think there's 12 episodes. They're half hour long,
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
And then I'm going to, because
Oh,
The Last Kingdom is like number 1 in the country or number 2 in the country right now.
telling you, it is phenomenal.
And then I saw the previews and like the action.
This season, it doesn't fail. I loved watching it. After that, I took your advice. I watched The Tiger King.
What do you think?
Wow.
Wow in a good way or wow in a bad way? Or Jake?
Every single
stupid?
one of them are insane.
Yes.
It was like watching a train wreck where,
Yes.
I didn't watch the last episode where, where are they now episode.
Yeah, I didn't do that either.
But the whole thing, it just, and you knew it was going to happen. You knew he was going to get caught for attempted murder or hiring a hitman or whatever.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
But, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
They're all nuts. Every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting. That was really interesting. If you're looking to watch a train wreck, that was one of them. I'm telling you, I can't describe it in any other way. But right now, I'm watching season 2 of Dead to Me.
How is that? How do you like that?
gosh, is it hilarious?
because we watched part of the first season,
Yeah.
and I didn't know if it was going to be a comedy or a drama because there's a little bit of both.
It's definitely what they would call what some of us in the biz
Yes,
might
sir.
call a
Yes.
dramedy.
Because I like both of them in the, I forget the people's names.
Christina Applegate.
Christina
and
Applegate.
I don't remember what the other main character's name is.
Right, but
Never
but
seen her before.
she's on ER. Sure, she was on ER.
Really?
Yeah, I believe Linda Carolini.
Okay. We'll go with that.
Am I thinking of the right one? I'm not sure. Anyway, okay, so you saw season 2. Continue, because that is
Season
also with Mike
2,
Quay.
It is funny. It's not a comedy, but there are parts in it where you just look at her, you look at what's going on, and you're just like, okay, everything's calm now, and then the other shoe drops. I don't know how far you got into season 1. I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah, halfway maybe. Yeah, halfway.
But it's really good. I am enjoying it. It's
okay.
It's this single mom.
Yep.
Or not. Well, she's not single. She's a married wife. Man, I'm saying some dumb things tonight. She's married, and her husband gets killed in the very first episode. She's
right
going to a grief, kind of like AA, but
yeah, like a support group, I guess, like a grief support group. Yep.
And her husband gets hit by a driver, a hit and run, and he dies. And she's got 2 boys, one's a teenager and one's probably maybe 11, maybe 10, something like that. And it's how she's coping with it. And she meets somebody at the support group and they become friends. And things happen and you find stuff out and think more stuff happens. And, season 2, it's just more out of left field. So that's what I'm watching now. I did find out that Uncut Gems is coming out to Netflix, which is the latest Adam Sandler movie, and it's not a comedy. I'm really excited about that. The previews that I saw look very, very promising.
All right.
Really looking forward to that. I said I was going to look at Disney Plus to watch some Mandalorian and other things, but Netflix keeps coming with more and more hits, and I keep saying, okay, well, I have to watch this next because I'm invested in it, or movie looks good. So Disney Plus is going to have to come up with some more stuff before I commit. I know they've got other stuff coming, like they've got a lot of Marvel properties that they're doing, the superhero stuff that I really enjoy. I'm a dork. I like Star Wars and I like Marvel. I mean, sue me.
Yeah, totally fine. Totally fine.
So, that's what I'm watching on Netflix. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really having a good time with it. But yeah, that's it.
Good.
Dead to Me. Really, watch it. You'll enjoy it. You'll laugh.
Yep, that's on my Quay. That's like when I'm watching it with a significant other in my life, and then and then I want to watch The Last Kingdom like by myself because I want to.
I want more people to watch The Last Kingdom just so it keeps going.
Yes,
because it's such a badass story,
right?
And a lot of it is historical. The people not necessarily the main character. I don't know if he's historical, but the king that's in the majority of the seasons, King Alfred, is a historical king. It's really based around the right time frame and what was happening in England at that time. So it's pretty cool. Where the Danes were invading England and King Alfred wanted to make a united England when there wasn't one. So, but yeah, so that's what I'm watching. I'm
all right, good. Sounds like we're on the same page then, because that's on my Quay. I want to watch that by myself because I want to vicariously live through that guy and pretend that I'm a badass, even if it's just for an hour at a time.
He really is a badass too.
Yeah, and I love the action. So yeah, I like to watch things in different contexts, whatever mood I'm in, and then whoever's with me, I want to watch the right thing. So What else did you want to talk about, Michael? I thought there was one more topic that you wanted to talk about.
There was one more topic. As we have discussed prior, and I don't know if you can see it in my hat,
Yes, look at this hat.
I am a submarine veteran.
Thank you for your service. Today is Armed Forces Day, I believe.
I believe you are correct, if my Facebook tells me correctly. Jake, you also are a veteran, so thank you for your service, sir.
And you as well, sir.
And I wanted to discuss one of, not necessarily the best, but one of the your favorite, what we call sea stories. I have one that I would like to discuss.
Please.
I would like to hear yours. So
Please.
We'll flip
first.
it. Me first?
Please, yeah, please. You're a better storyteller than I am. Mine's probably not as exciting as yours. And then when I get done with mine, then we'll do a wrap up and call it a night. So please go ahead, Michael. I'm interested to hear it.
Okay, so I was on a submarine.
Yes.
Hence the hat, submarine service.
Awesome.
Awesome. And when we were in port, lucky enough to be in port, we had to pump sanitary tanks, which, for lack of a better term, cover your ears, Mom, it's a shit tank. We had to pump those overboard into the pier side tanks, so that way we didn't pollute the local waters. Before you do a pumping evolution, we all get into our cruise lounge and go over the evolution, who's going where, who's going to watch what, that kind of thing. So we were in port, and at one point, somehow we ended up with a garbage bag, a big, gigantic black garbage bag full of goodies that the Wives Club had sent us. And we're talking cookies and cakes and brownies and more cookies and stuff that you shouldn't eat if you're a sailor trying to watch your weight. I had many good friends on the sub, as I'm sure you had on the carrier there. I had one friend named Brad and my best friend named Scott. Scott was on watch. He was a torpedoman, and he was on watch that day. Brad and I were in the cruise lounge talking about this pumping evolution along with other people, and he takes one of these brownies, or some of these brownies, and he starts playing with it because he has idle hands. And he starts playing with it, and he's molding it. And he goes, "Hey guys, what does this look like?" And it ended up having nuts in it. And he molded it to look like a shit. Okay, and we're all laughing, of course. He goes, "I'm going to throw this in the forward bilge." And then for those of you that don't know, the bilge is the bottom of the boat. It's the bottommost part of the boat. It's where all the oil and seawater and junk ends up there. Yeah. He goes, "I'm going to throw this in the forward bilge." Now, the forward bilge on a Trident class sub, which is what I was on, it was in the torpedo room, where my friend Scott was the torpedoman of the watch. So he takes this brownie looks like a turd, and he throws it in the forward bilge. We finish our pumping evolution. Everything runs smoothly. We go down for an after action report, because of course you have to have an after action because there's an endless amount of time.
Right. Yep.
We're sitting there talking, and Scott comes rushing into the lounge, and he's pissed. Beat red face. "Who?" The sailor talk.
Go ahead.
"Put a sailor talk in my bilge. Somebody took a" sailor talk "dump in my" sailor talk "bilge." Beat red. Angry. I mean, you could see veins. He had a bald head. Looked kind of like Stone Cold Steve Austin. A really short version of Stone Cold. I mean, he was bald. He had the goatee. Scott liked to work out. He was always very well built. and he just fit to be tied. He's so angry. I can't do justice of it without, getting demonetized. Just so angry and using so many sailor words in there. Uh, who essentially took a dump in my bilge. And of course, Brad and I are trying not to laugh, and we're like, "What? No, somebody did that, guy? You son of a, you freaking took a dump in my belt. I'm read the neck. I'm gonna kick his ass." Just really and Scott and I are doing our best, or Brad and I are doing our best to not die laughing. Playing it up, making him more angry. Oh yeah, we're gonna get that guy. Oh, we'll find out who did it, and we'll get him. So Scott leaves, and he's just storming out of there. Brad and I start dying. I mean, we're just busting up. Eventually, Scott finds out, and once Scott finds out, all hell breaks loose. I mean, he was pissed. He was laughing. He still, to this day, he still holds ill will against me. We talked about it on Facebook maybe 3 months ago. It came up, and all I said was brownies in the bilge, and both Brad and Scott just lost their. Brad was laughing, Scott was pissed. It was fun. So 20 years later,
yes, yeah.
Almost 20 years later, Scott is still angry about a brownie that was fashioned in a turd and thrown in a bilge. And it doesn't end there. There were more. Scott and I pulled pranks on everybody. I mean, we put Kool-Aid in people's shoes, like Kool-Aid powder in people's shoes, so when they took their shoes off, their feet were red. We had a guy go up to the corpsman because his feet were red. We told him, "Yeah, man, that looks bad," knowing full well what we did to him. We tied we called them, they were coveralls, but we called them poopy suits. We tied their legs into knots, but only one leg, so when they put their other leg in, they'd fall over. You lock wire their bunk beds. That's where we put all of our clothes. We lock wire them shut and then duct tape that and lock wire that. I mean, we did a lot of pranks, and of course the stupid ones like salt and pepper. Scott and I did, and Scott actually took the fall for that. So I mean, but this one, Scott finally got it. He got me back eventually with a bottle of Febreze. Yeah, so that's what we did. We, in the monotonous times, which are often, early and often,
yeah,
as we like to say, we pulled pranks on each other, and that's how we passed the time. So that's one of my favorites, one that I hopefully will never forget. Brad and Scott, I love you, and I miss you greatly. Thank you both for your service, and I hope to hear from both of you soon. Jake, what's one of your favorites?
Michael, that was a great story, and your buddies sound like they're great people, and I hope to meet them someday, because I have great people in my life too that I served with. Some you lose contact with, some, I mean, you could pick up tomorrow if you saw them again, like no time has ever passed.
Of course.
I have one sea story that, and again, playing pranks. And when I was new, I was pranked on myself. I was initiated or pranked on or whatever because I was new and I didn't know any better. And that's just an initiation process. Some people call it hazing. Some people call it initiation. Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Nothing physical happened. They didn't, punch me in the face or, put fire, they didn't beat me with fire hoses or anything like that. It's just little pranks that
no matter how hard you ask.
Right. And little pranks, just to see how you'll react, to see if you're cool or not. It's just a rite of passage, for lack of a better term. So I was in the line division, which is where you take care of the jets. It's like a glorified gas station attendant for the jets. And every E3 and below, you started out in the line division when you're in a squadron. you wash them, you service them, oil them, whatever. You're kind of think of the 1950s Phillips station of the guy running out and cleaning your windshield. That was me. So we were kind of the grunts, and for lack of a better term, that's what we were. And we were called brown shirts, or we call them turd shirts because they were brown.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there for a while, and I think I was a senior, junior guy. I was a senior guy in the line division, so I had some hair on my balls, and I was well respected and all that, and I was cocky as well. So we had a new guy come in. His name was Sal. I forget his last name. Doesn't matter. But Sal, great guy, tall as hell. And Sal was brand new, and I thought, all right, I'm going to get this guy. And I don't care what happens to me, because how bad can it get, right? I'm out at sea. I'm working 12 hours a day. I don't care. And with sea time, and you know this as well as I do, 90% of your time is just sheer boredom.
Absolute boredom.
Compare to 10% of, oh my gosh, oh shit, this is going crazy. It's pandemonium. It's ultimate stimulation. It's 10% of that. Mm-hmm. So I was in the 90% of it's really boring. I'm really bored. So we're doing flight ops, or we're just wrapping up with flight ops in the evening time. And I'm up in the line division office, and I said, I'm going to get Sal. I'm going to see how he is. So we have this E7, a chief, E7, as a flight deck coordinator that's attached to our squadron, directing our jets to where they need to go and what needs to be done. His name was Chief Johnson. Nice guy, very quiet, and he got it. So one night I told Sal, or asked Sal, I said, and the flight deck coordinator initials were FDC, because everything in the service has to be an initial, right?
Absolutely, everything.
So, and then our jets or our airplanes always had a number on them, 401, 402, 403. So I told Sal, when he was just sitting there, I said, hey, Sal, go up to the flight deck, tell the FDC, or the flight deck coordinator, that the FDC is fucked up on 405. So Sal says, all right, sounds good. I'll do that. So he gets his gear on, goes up to the flight deck, goes up the FDC, and said, I was told to tell you that the FDC is messed up on aircraft number 405. Chief Johnson, this is what I hear. Chief Johnson looked at him and said, okay, I'll figure it out, or I'll get back to you or something. So Sal runs back down and says,
take
okay.
It for the joke that it was.
Right. He took it because he got it. Chief Johnson got it. So he runs back down and he says, all right, Jake, I told the FDC that, the FDC, or he said, I told him that the FDC was a mess, because he didn't know. He didn't know what FDC meant. Right. He didn't know anything. So he was just doing what he's told. So God bless him for that. So anyway, maybe 10 minutes later, the phone rings in the office and says, meet Chief Johnson behind the bridge. Now, on an aircraft carrier, you'll know that it's really flat on top, but it has like a tower off the side of it, and that's called the bridge, where the bridge is, weather, and the captain's mast, and all this other stuff. But there's like a walkway behind it, or where in some of the old carriers, that's where the exhaust was of the diesel. So, but I was on a nuclear carrier, so there was no exhaust, but you could still walk behind the bridge, and it was used for storage for different things. So, of course, there was a phone call, and I knew it was going to come, but whatever.
Yeah.
Jake, meet Chief Johnson behind the bridge now. I thought, oh, great, here we go. All right, okay. Roger that. So I hung up, got on my stuff, went went behind the bridge, and let's just say Chief Johnson and I had a conversation about proper protocol on the flight deck and in the office. So yeah, but I knew it was coming, and it was kind of half-hearted. Like once he kind of got it out, and once he did what he was supposed to, like chew my ass out real bad.
Sure.
Then it was like, okay, now let's just move on. And that's what I liked about the military, is that if you ever messed up, you got an ass chewing,
Yep.
and then you moved on, and it was like nothing
Yep.
ever happened. And that's what happened. And like, Roger that, yes, Chief, you're right, Chief. Won't happen again, Chief. You're right,
Did
Chief.
Did you ever notice that? Now, I don't know how it works on a carrier or in the Airedale community, but in the submarine community, everybody was just called by their last name until you were in trouble, and then they called you by rank.
Yes. Like
or
PO3, PO4.
so
PO3, PO2. Yeah.
So my first patrol, I smacked my head something fierce. I mean, current times, it would have been diagnosed as a concussion. I mean, I smacked my head something fierce. Blood was rushing down. It was bad. And I got back to my work area where I was heading. I mean, I was being stupid, but anyway. When I got back, my first class looked at me and said, "Cooper, sit down." And I said, "No, I'm fine. Let's keep going." He goes, "No, Cooper, you need to go see Doc. Sit down, and I'll get Doc to you." I said, "No, I'm fine." And then he said, "Petty Officer Cooper,
yeah,
sit down." And as soon as he said, Petty Officer Cooper, I knew he wasn't screwing around. It was serious. So then I sat down.
Some shit was going to go down. Yes.
Right. So, is that the same way as it is?
A lot of it was, yeah. A lot of it was, and we had nicknames too, know. So sometimes you were called your nickname, and then sometimes you were called by your last name. But if they ever pulled rank, like Petty Officer Cooper, Petty Officer whoever, that's when you knew it was like, okay, it's time to, go behind the bridge or go in the void somewhere and have a conversation. And I remember
a first class just getting very, very angry over something. I don't remember what they were getting something angry about, but he was very angry over something, and he brought it up to control. And control was the one place you didn't screw around.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't make jokes, but he was pissed and he was screaming back and forth. And the guy was trying to talk to him. I don't want to say his name, but he was screaming. And finally, the chief of the watch had enough, and he said, "Petty Officer," and then said his name. And that petty officer shut up. I mean, it didn't matter how pissed he was. He knew that was the line, and there wasn't any crossing it.
Yeah, so that's true.
It was kind of an interesting. I don't know. It was kind of an interesting way of knowing where the line was.
I'd have to agree with you. I really would, because usually you know when like you have like a counseling session or an ass chewing or a redirect or kind of a firm up counseling session, if you will. But once you heard the formal rank in your last name, you're right. That was the line. And that was when, okay, things are about to get real, or things are getting real now. So you better pay attention.
Fun and game time is over.
Yeah.
And this is military time.
Yeah, this is military time. And it's not, an E7 talking to an E3 or an E7 talking to an E4. Right. It's military time, and it's getting serious. So yeah, I got my ass chewed for that, and I knew it was coming, but it was worth it. And it wasn't the first time, and it wouldn't be the last.
Of course not.
And but let me tell you, Sal, I told him, he said, "Well, what happened?" And I said, "Well, this is what happened. Welcome to the squadron." And he was really cool about it, and he didn't, rat me out. He just said, "Who told you that the FTC was messed up on 405? And well, this guy was, which was me. And then like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. They should have seen that coming. So anyway, to everybody that was in the armed forces, thank you so much for your service. I drink to you all, and to especially those that are still on watch.
Absolutely.
That are still running the watch, that are still pulling sticks, still standing watch, still pulling the throttle. So thank you so much for your service. And so that was my military or my sea story. So
fantastic.
Well, that's it for me tonight, Michael. I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of fun tonight. How about you?
Yes, absolutely. We've learned a lot. We've drank a lot.
Yes, we have.
And I think you know, we've lived, and you know, that's
I
all I have
agree.
to say.
I agree. Michael, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you,
Thank you
everybody
for
that's
having me.
watching. And oh, you're my best friend. I love you like a brother. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight for the episode of Drinking with Jake. We really are so happy that you're joining us. Please subscribe if you have not already. We are looking into different things in the future that we want you to be part of. So there's more to come on that, but I don't want to give anything away. But we have big plans and big surprises for the future. Big. Michael says big.
Plans.
Big plans.
Really
So,
excited about how this is going to turn out.
yeah, we're
Sorry, Jake.
very excited. We're
I mean
very
to cut you off. I don't
No,
mean
go
to.
ahead. I'm rambling.
You know, we really want this channel to grow, so please share with your friends
Yeah,
and have them subscribe. We really, you know, this will continue on as long as we find it entertaining and as long as we think you guys are being entertained.
right.
But yeah, we have huge ideas. There's lots of plans going up here and going on over here. So, you know, just keep subscribing and just share so you know, more people can enjoy it, please.
And I agree, Michael. Thank you and well said. And thank you for joining us. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments and concerns and anything that you want us to discuss as well, because this is a show about everybody and not just drinking, but you know, fun, camaraderie, jokes, and stories and all that. So thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so much for sharing the whiskey that you did.
Thank you, sir.
Max, thank you. You did a great job of bottling a
Max,
good whiskey
your
tonight.
bottle was fantastic. You know, I wouldn't recommend drinking it with lime, but Max, you did a good job bottling it. It's good stuff.
Excellent. And until then, everybody have a great week. Stay safe. And again, if you're in the armed forces or wherever in the armed forces, thank you so much for your service on Armed Forces Service Day.
Yes, absolutely. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Thank you. Take care. And we'll see you next time, everybody.